Hi, this is Sherry. Welcome to my journey in clay, where today we're going to be making a small gnome. In a previous video, we made a gnome that was a little bit bigger and a lot more detailed with some googly eyes and a hat and some feet, but this one is going to be more of a basic gnome. It's a little bit easier, but it is definitely faster because there are less pieces and still cute. We are going to roll our clay out. This clay is already rolled out to it's a little under 1/4 inch. So I have that all set. There are two main pattern pieces that we're going to use, and then for a couple of the other pieces, we'll just roll them out as we need them. So the first thing we're going to do is smooth our clay out with a rib before we do anything else. So for texture, the way you can do a lot of different things, of course, but the way I like to do these is to make the body without texture on the clay. And for the hat, I do make some texture. So again, we just have these two pattern pieces, and we'll go ahead and get those cut out. For the hat, since I'm going to be doing texture, well, one other thing I want to say, if I'm actually making these in my studio, then I'm going to be making more than one, most likely. So in this case, we're just making them one at a time, so I'm just cutting out one. But if I'm actually making them in the studio, I'm going to be making more. So I would go ahead and I would texture the piece that I'm going to use for the hat. I have a couple pieces here that I use. This is just netting from some kind of fruit. That's what this is. I have lace, and I think for today I'm going to try the netting. So I'm just going to place it over enough of the clay for the hat. Roll it. Pick my piece up and go ahead and cut out the hat. Here are our two pieces. Here's the body, here's the hat. We're going to start with the body. I'm going to take my little loop tool and bevel each side. So I'm going to just very gently bevel over here, turn it over, and bevel the other side. I don't make these too deep because this is a small piece. Then we're going to scratch. This clay is also pretty soft. You don't really have to wait for it to set up too much. And I'm going to very gently, this is going to be the gnome body. I'm going to very gently curl it around, join these pieces. Going to pick it up and smooth it out a little. This still seems a little rough. I think I'll take a tool, maybe my little roller here, and just roll it up a little. Yeah, there we go. I've gotten it just a little bit out of whack here. So I'm going to have to cut the bottom just a little. Okay. There we go. So that's going to be our gnome body. We'll be squishing this up a little bit for the It's not really going to have a head, but we'll be squishing this up a little, so it won't be quite that tall when we're done. But it stands up pretty straight. For the hat, before we shape it, I'm just going to take my handy wrap and just smooth it off just a little around this bottom edge. Then we'll do the same thing as far as beveling the edges. Bevel this edge over here. Turn it over. Bevel this side. Again, scratch and slip. Now for the hat, we do the same thing as far as, trying to be careful and gently round it out until we can join these pieces. Okay, for the hat, when we're ready to put it on, we can make sure that it fits properly. But for now, I like to make a little twist in the hat. So this doesn't really come to a point. What I'll do is I'll sort of push and press it into a point. And then I like to give it a little bit of character, either twist it over. I have the back seam facing me. I'll either twist it over a little bit like this, and maybe even just sort of twist it back a little. So there we go. There's the hat. Set that aside. For the body, what we're going to do is we're going to give it a beard and a nose. That's all we need. For the beard, I take some of my clay leftover pieces from when I cut out the gnome. Just roll it a little thinner. Let's roll that just a little bit wider. Okay. And then I will just cut out freeform a beard. Only the bottom part of this is going to show. You're not really going to see the top part. So you can make your beard any shape you want. I made a shape sort of pointed down towards the middle. Then I'll take my tool and just make marks on it to make it look more like a beard. So I've got my beard ready to go. I need a nose. If my leftover pieces here are soft enough, I'll make the nose from that. But if I don't want any cracks in it, so a lot of times I'll just take some clay, some soft clay that I have put aside. The nose is pretty easy. We'll just make a round ball and taper it a little bit at the top. There we go, nose. And then we want two arms. I'm going to do the same thing, take some of my fresh clay here. I'm going to take the clay, roll it into a ball, and then roll it out into a coil. I'm thinking this is about maybe a 1/4 inch thick. I'm going to cut this into 2 arms. And this, let's see, this is about 3.5. So that's about 1 3/4 inch. That's about right for each arm. Cut it in half. For the hands, I don't want to be too detailed, but I'd like to give it a little definition. So I just squeeze this bottom like that. Do the same thing on the other side. All right, so we have all of our pieces. Going to get my scratcher. We're going to do the beard, then the nose, then the arms. So I'll scratch everything. Scratch each side for the arms, for the beard. I'll get the nose in a minute. Now the hat, when we put the hat on, the hat's going to go down like this. So when we put our beard on, I'll scratch a little bit of the back of this beard too. Put some slip on the beard and just place it. Okay, you can see that the beard is not really all the way up, and that's okay. And actually, I'm going to do the arms and then the nose because I want to make sure I get the nose in the right place. For the arms, we can make them straight down or we can bend them a little. I'll bend them just a little. Just press that. This isn't going to be shown. This will be under the hat, so you don't need to worry if this looks a little unfinished. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn him around, take a look. Okay. The hat's going to go on next, but I'm going to sort of place it so I can see where to put the nose. Here's our hat. Our nose will go right about here. I'm going to attach the nose. Little scratching. Slip. For the hat, I'm going to go ahead and scratch the inside of it. Scratch this. Well, actually, I'm sort of poking this, but, making some little marks there. Anything to sort of help it adhere. Then seam in the back. I'm going to put the nose on. Then I'm going to take this little guy and press this hat. Turn them all around, press the hat. And there we have it. That is a very easy gnome you can make. I don't know how long it took. I didn't time it, but it probably 15 minutes or so. And again, when I'm doing a lot of these, I'll roll them all out and do them all at the same time. The hat, as I said, you can do a little twist like this. You can do it straight up. A lot of times you can put a little ball on the end of it. So we could take a little ball, do the scratch and slip, put a little ball on it. You can do that. When it's time to glaze it, since we're using the light colored clay, we can just use underglaze and then do clear over top.